Hey everybody, welcome back to the basement. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to do a really quick layout update. We'll call this 12.5 because it's not a full layout update, but we do have a lot of things that I've been working on over the last couple weeks to get things ready for the TCA convention this summer. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the things. And one of the big things that I did, I actually just finished today, and it is some new lighting for the layout, something that's been desperately needed for a long time. So I added 15 LED lights to the basement, specifically around ductwork that didn't have any lights. So we had a lot of shadows and things like that. In fact, I'm sitting here before you without any ring light or camera light shining on me, and you can actually see me. I apologize for the kids running around playing upstairs. It's part of life. So let's go ahead and dive in and look at this, and then I've added a couple other little small details and a lot of more trees to lay out as well. So let's go ahead and take a look at what this looked like before we had all these new lights. Don't mind that tree. So this is what it looked like before any lighting was added. Now I've got lots of track lighting, LED track lighting, but we've got this ductwork here without anything in it, and that causes lots of shadows. So usually when I've got trains coming through the passenger station in this area, I have to bring in external lighting to illuminate this area. You can see the shadows there from the backdrop from the lights. Just not ideal. So we're gonna add some lighting here and see how we can change this up. So pretty dark, right? Especially around coming up the grade, off the bridge and into the tunnel. That was always shadowed. So I always had to move a ring light around to film the trains there because they were constantly dark and in shadows and just wasn't great. And that was just a flaw from when I finished the basement myself for not putting these lights in originally. So had a licensed electrician come out, we got some new lighting put in, and we are good to go. So let's take a look at what this scene looks like now. So here's the lights. So you can see it's really lit up this area over here. This is what I was talking about with those shadows as trains came up. Really see the details in the rocks now. And these shadows here, you can kind of see those shadows there from the other lights. They were significantly worse, and now these really brighten this up. These three lights here, as you see, you can actually move them. So they're right there in the front, and they're adjustable, which is really nice. I'm really happy with those. I think it's significantly better. So maybe 15 lights was overkill, but I wanted to make sure that I had enough put in that would kind of cover all of our bases. In fact, I've got 2 more lights still that I could put in. I'm thinking of putting them over on the other side. So we'll see how things kind of progress here, but I think this looks significantly better. So other than the lighting, what else have I done? Well, I've gotten some more super trees. I also got some boxes of pre-made trees as well and added those to some of the hillsides behind the town. And so we can go ahead and we can pan and take a look at some of those trees here. So like I said, some are pre-made, some are super trees. Super trees are great, but they do take some time to make. I spray paint them brown and then add flocking material, and they have to dry. Then you have to add them to the layout, and they are super, super fragile, which is one of the only problems with them. Okay, so I added the super trees. The next thing that I did was I finally added the tunnel portal to the double main line on the back end of the layout. So when the trains come out of that tunnel, it was a natural kind of cave tunnel that they would come out of. I've had to get a custom-made portal for that section because the tracks are the width of the tracks and kind of how it's butted up against the incline for the upper level as well. So Harry Henning from Henning's Trains, about a year or so ago, asked for measurements. I sent the measurements to him, and he was able to custom make a hydrocal molded tunnel portal, and I've been sitting in the back of my basement for I don't know how long, and I finally decided that I have to get this done. I'm kind of up against the wall as June is quickly approaching for the TCA convention. I wanted to make sure I got this tunnel portal in, so I painted it and got it installed, and I think it looks so much better than what it did before. So as we get videos of trains coming out behind that Erie hobo car, you're gonna see that tunnel portal now, and I think it just kind of finishes off that scene. We've also redid the wall back here. So we have a retaining wall right behind me that's kind of the cut through and also reversing loop track that goes back from the inner loop, cuts the inner loop tunnel. And I had done my own molds from Bragdon Enterprises. I do my own rock molds, and that stone wall was a mold as well. I ended up going and ordering some of the Pensy wall system from Scenic Express and just changing that out because it just didn't look right. It didn't match these walls for the incline over here. So decided let's go ahead and change that. So that's been changed as well. Really creates more of a cleaner, more uniform look. And I'm really happy with how that all turned out. I've got lots of little detail parts. So some from Steel City, some from some other websites that I have since forgotten. But I was able to get a bunch of different detail parts. Crow River as well. Crow River, I saw pictures from the Big E show up in Amherst, and lots of detail parts they had at their booth, and I saw that through photos of people that were at the show because I wasn't there. So I went on their website and ordered a bunch of detail parts. I spent a lot of money on just small little detail parts because those things do nickel and dime you. It's maybe $3 for this or $4 for that, but I bought a ton of stuff because I want to add all those little small details to the layout before the convention and we have visitors over. So bought a bunch of those things. I'm still working on some of the kits to put together. They're kind of cast molded, so really fragile and difficult to put together. Got a little speeder for the, like a Velocispeeder thing for the speeder shed as well. So that's pretty cool. Lots of small detail parts, including like cinder blocks and Coke bottles and all sorts of little things, pulleys and old wheels and old car parts. We're rusting out, kind of putting in different rust piles around the layout. We got a little crane for the diesel engine facility area as well, which is pretty cool. So I've got that painted and in place. We've got to add just some more concrete feet, I think, to that, and that'll be finalized. So some of those small detail parts as well we've added to this layout, which is really nice. So I think that covers almost everything. But one of the big things was in the back corner of the layout behind the roundhouse, there was a pop-up hole in the corner. And a lot of times you probably couldn't see it because I didn't really film it all that often, but it was there. And so I have finally filled in that pop-up hole. And what I did was I took the section for it and I finished it off-site, kind of in the shop, and then placed it where it was and then scenicked around it. So the backdrop over in that area has those Pensy box cars. And I actually have one of those Pensy box cars that are very similar to those in my collection, and I had gotten it from Stockyard Express. My buddy Jason picked it up, and unfortunately the ladders had a lot of zinc rot and were breaking apart. So I decided to weather it and have it be a static display over in that back corner. We added some trees as well. I think that came together really, really nicely. And so we've got the shell tanks back there. The track kind of disappears behind that and helps it kind of blend in with the backdrop. I think it came together pretty well. I'm pretty proud of that. It was something that kind of just came to me as I was working on some other things to finally finish that back area. And I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. So next thing we have to do, we have to finish the town. I've got to finish the bases for those two newer downtown deco buildings that I have. And then I think the town there will be done. We can just add cars and people to that, and then just more trees. And I'm really happy with how things are turning out right now. I also finished the fascia on the back side of the layout by the upper loop. I finally painted that and added some more fascia along that back side to kind of finish that off. So things are looking really good around here. Let's go ahead and see some things running around layout with this new lighting. You're gonna see a PS3 MTH Premier Hiawatha set from my buddy Chris's. We'll feature that in another video, but we're gonna see that running around the layout here. So thank you all so much for tuning in for this quick layout update. If